I'm just gonna just make sure everything is cool. Okay, I guess we're in there. Just checking. Okay, guys. Hey, guys. So I'll wait for a couple people to get in here before I start. Going over information. So yesterday morning it started. I got up and there's these bursts of energy that are really good, and there's some that can wipe you out. And it's been probably going 24 hours that you can feel this energy that's downloading and downloading and downloading. And so it kind of wipes you out a little bit. So if people are feeling that, and it's just me tonight because I want to go over certain information and stick to certain subjects. And I have to go over some past predictions because those are current right now that we are dealing with in the situation. So pay attention to your physical vessel that's getting very tired. And I'm telling you, it's like being exhausted and you're still having to function. You're just like, come on, what's going on? This is really strong energy. Am I breaking up a little bit? I should turn that up. Can you guys hear me clearly? I'm just going to check this. Should be fine. Yes, it does feel like we're going through quicksand. Yes, it is. It's bad. And so for a while, it's been like just kind of stagnated. And then all of a sudden it just came completely down. And then when it comes down, you're dealing with holding yourself up in this energy into the physical body, and the body gets hit hard. So, and I can't tell you how many days this is going to go on for, but you're going to feel it for a while. You are going to feel it for a while. So what I've noticed is the intel people are getting so desperate for information. They are surfacing the internet. They're doing whatever they can just to throw it on YouTube and feed you, you know. And if they would have got it right the first time and known the right sources to get the information, they would not be doing what they're doing right now, is trying to find anything they can just to feed you something. So, and I think we're starting to see that. It is on a grand level, especially in the UFO community. And I know, again, they're trying to spin that fake convention again and charge you a mint. Just stay away from it. It's just going to be another mess up situation. Danny and Oprah are friends, so I don't think that's going to go over well. And that's evident. So all these pedophiles are being seen for who they are. So let that be shown in the light the way it needs to be. So anyway, so I want to start, because the downloads I've been getting, we're going to go back in time here a little bit. We're going to go back to these guys. Remember these guys, the giants I talked about? I did 2.5 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. And I told you that these guys were going to surface eventually. They were going to surface. I did this where they started and where they ended up. Like there's 2 different origins that they would be in. And this is Lebanon and Jordan, and goes all the way to Israel, okay, underneath the ground there, okay. And I showed you guys that they would be carrying a device, looks, these are kind of faded, but it is at the circle areas device. Those are the giants, and those are the caverns that they're showing underneath the ground, okay. And I think 2 weeks ago, Spirit told me that the giants are going to surface. They're going to start to show themselves. And they said, pay attention to tree branches. Pay attention to the Earth's crust. An opening looks like it's something really big coming out of the ground. Okay. They said at this potential level, there are different levels of giants with different conscience of understanding. So don't think that a lot of these are dumb, because they're not. Some of them were weaponized with the different giants, and some were working for the gods. And I feel a lot of the ones that work for the gods are going to surface. Those are intelligent ones, because there are devices and stuff that they have to go back in and move. And so they're showing me this process. And like I told you, that they had several layers of teeth. So, and they're telling me, pay attention in Antarctica and pay attention in the Holy Land area, those 2 areas that they showed me that they would surface. Now, because these devices, we're at the end times of where everything's going to surface. So whatever they have to remove off this planet is going to have to come to the top. There's no time left. So the unreal is real. And I know that you guys are finally understanding that the unreal is real. It's the reverse of what you've been taught. So you need to pay attention to unusual situations that are happening, and unusual energy, and unusual clouds, and unusual sounds that you're hearing constantly. So it's something you need to pay attention to. Like I talked about with the Holy Land, I saw that place a long time ago in layers, and that was what was on the top of it is not really what's going on. It's what's below the crust in levels that's going to happen. And that they had these creatures that were tied down below for many of years. And those creatures had some knowledge that the negative did not want to surface. And now we're at the times that it's there. That is happening. That is released. So everything on our last stand and the last event has to happen in that area. So there is an energy and a frequency that is there, and that has to come to the crust, to the very top of everything. And so we're in those days. We're in that time that's going to happen. And everybody thinks it affects us in a human situation, and it's not. Some of the stuff, it is been written in books, and it may not be exact the way they're saying it, but it's kind of like a dinosaur seeing a dinosaur, and you guys think that it has something to do with you, and it doesn't. There's a war going on above us in layers, and we're just kind of in the middle, and we just got to let this play out the way it has to play out. So the ambassador of this world knows what's going on and will keep tugging away until it is done on this situation. So, and I can even see with the clouds now, there has been a different look with them that has occurred that did not make any sense what was going on. And then just recently, within the last 24 hours, you're starting to see normal clouds again. So I'm thinking that phase of that situation is done. Now we're going to start a new phase. So I'm expecting, I want you to start looking for this stuff. I told you about these organic ships. And I told you it's like a titanium invisible process. You put your hand through and it'll go back and forth. You can't see through it clearly. So your eyes are going to mess with you in a 3D process. But they're saying these will be right above soon. So, and I think at that time, it's not something that needs to be hidden. I think it'll be something that needs to be seen because they want you to see it this time. So it's important for that. But we're going back to some of these predictions because they're occurring right now. I'll go through some of the messages here in a minute. Now, and I told you about the ley lines and the pyramids. Those are connected. They always have been connected. There's 3 massive pyramids that are on this planet that are the strongest. And those 3 are connected to this whole Earth's frequency. Is that going to create earthquakes? Yes. And it goes into the inner Earth. This is what they showed me in the drawing that I did. So, what goes on top is connected to these ley lines. Okay. So it's like coming online completely, and you're not going back in time. You're not going back in history. You're going forward. And I would pay attention to numbness in your body. Like you can't really feel anything. You can't feel pain. You feel like you're getting information and you don't know where it's coming from. Pay attention to those signs. So I'm going to pause here and answer a couple questions that we have. So we're in the times. So the energy, it's draining me. It's weird. It is a strange situation. It's almost like the body doesn't know what to do. That's the way I can describe it. So each person's at a different conscience of understanding. And each person's going to witness different things and feel it in a different way. Just as you do when I teach classes, each person perceives information differently. So the best thing you can do is be outside, take pictures, stay above, pay attention, share that information. This is not a process. And I mean in a big understanding, this is not a process to be in any type of fear. This is where your conscience has to get used to seeing something different that you have not seen before, that your veil of understanding has been told to be in fear in that process. Do not be in fear. Do not be in fear. Sorry. So we're in these times, and I have told you guys to be standing and walking through the fire and watching things dismantle. And as something dismantles, something new is standing right behind it to support it. 3D goes down, 4D comes up. It's going to be in that process. So, I mean, the way I describe those, how it looks is it looks titanium, but see-through. There's an outline you might see, but you're not going to see it in the way you see things here. So, and as the UFO community sits there and argues about what type of ships are coming in and who's communicating with the ships and which aliens are right and which ones are wrong, I don't really give a shit. Because this is beyond that. This is about your own self-awareness connecting to source, because it's beyond all of that, and that's what needs to be paying attention to, is your inner strength, your inner wisdom. And you could stay in that peace and let them all figure out if they're important or if they're not important, or how many products they can make you buy before all this ends and crashes and you're not going to want to buy products no more. So it's going to be a vast process of pushing that last minute of pushing a fear process or whatever they can to get you to buy some more stuff. It's not going to change it. It hasn't changed it in 6 months. It's not going to change it again. So the thing is, with the ley lines and with the pyramids comes these shifts of the ground. And California is going to be affected by this. And I told you, with that interpretation or that prediction with California, it's not something that's going to end. It's going to consistently happen in California. It's not going to stop one day and that's going to be it. That consistent deterioration is going to occur on a constant basis. Because I told you it has to do with the soil and the levels of soil and how the deterioration is happening, how the water is liquefying in that area, and how underneath the ground there's no stability no more and everything will deteriorate. Because I think as the human concept, we think because man has resided in the fact that that is their property. That's not what Mother Nature says. And at any time, it can take it back, and the sea will gobble it back up, like it has done in many times before. So that is going to be an area to witness that transformation of California. And you guys have seen the pictures many times. I've showed you, it's on Instagram, that it's splitting and going 2 ways from Orange County all the way up to San Francisco. It's going to split. And there's not going to be much of LA. And with everybody worried about a 3D timeline and when something phenomenal is going to happen in the new golden process, has to do, like I said, like the night of the election of 2016, same energy that told me what was going to happen will ring in this golden age. The same energy will be there again. And so I've already told my groups, I already told, what's the other group? Patreon in there. I will let them know when I start to shift it. Do I feel like it's building up? I do feel it's building up. And I do believe part of this energy that we're feeling is part of that process that's building up. Okay? But then when it's at its highest, that all it can do is come down to that reality of truth. I'm going to let you know, because I'm going to feel it. And then we're going to be in that process. With that process, as you're seeing companies, like I said, mantle in that process. Something new behind it will stand up, which you're seeing, which is being created. And again, not in a fear process of how things change out. But also, like I said, your quality of food in that process is going to change too. The consumption of real food will be in front of you soon to have that, to nourish the body. And that will be rejuvenating the body, giving it what the body needs again. So, yeah. So the whole thing about this is really at your time that we're in it. We're in this energy. We're in this frequency. And this is where you really depend on the information that resides inside you. Everything around you is falling apart, like pieces of the puzzle is supposed to just deteriorate, and it's doing that. And that's why you have to stay strong in the strength of what you believe in, because there will be more creation happening, more things developed in a positive light that is going to happen. Things that we thought were impossible will come to the reality that it's very easy within hours or seconds to get it done. Our pains of the vessel of the body will be something of the past that we do not have to focus on. But we do have to focus on creation and creating and cleaning what messes we have made. And everybody, it's hard to get the concept that people think that things, it's a date and a time. It's a date and a time. No, but not really. It's not. It's an abundance of light that comes in and gives you the fruits that you need at the golden ages. That's the bottom line. And everyone will know it in that way. But we are witness what has happened in our past. And you have to see that and witness the wrong to learn from that, to know that this is something that you had to be a part of to pay attention to. So it's important to not, in the process, everybody wants in a hurry, wants it over. But we have to, there's a certain process. You don't value the lesson until you can look back on it and understand why it took time, why it happened at the time that it did, because you value that then. And right now you may be frustrated, but the value of everything will come back to you. And so you're at a process that first thing is important is your own vessel and your own conscience is staying above this and seeing others that did not understand it, did not want to see it. You have to conserve your strength for yourself, because those are the new leaders of this world. Not a process of living in fear and feeling like something else is in control, because this will go to a collective of conscience, of smart conscience that was seated here a long time ago, that was always going to be formed in a light frequency of intelligence. And I have to say There, I have seen so many strong ones that are left that did come here to do this, that did come here to establish this, and they are tired and worn out and still standing in there, and they will stay into that situation until this whole situation is done. And that is honorable. That is highly noted of their courage for doing that. And you have to stay in it. We have a little more to go. So, and they are the ones that are working in the background, and they are the ones day and nights, and they're exhausted and they're tired, but they get up every day and they are giving information. They are seeing the truth, and they are witnessing what needs to be seen and told. Those are the heroes. They do not have time to come onto YouTube every day and do a video and have hundreds of guests show up. It does not work in that way. That is a false narrative. Trust me, they are not on YouTube. So I'm going to look at some of the information here. And just give me a minute, guys, and just, if you want to post a question, it'd be the best time to post it now. And the guys that did the movie are all good souls. So pushing another narrative that's not true. So what can I say about what's to come? Well, you're going to be feeling wiped out for a while. And I say, pay attention to the colors in the sky that will change. And it's time to see the true form that is really there. The seas will pardon ways that we have not been able to access or see before. Texas is a good state to stay in. So, so for right now, everything is being processed that needs to be processed. Looking at the information every day is not going to change the fact that it's not going to reverse. This is not going to reverse. It's going to go forward. The only thing I can tell you is when you start to see the 1-800 numbers, then you need to be paying attention to details. The people that I know are dealing with the financing side are so exhausted and so tired and feeling like they've been running a marathon for a long time. And they just want to get to that last inch that's left, because then they can breathe clearly. Take a breath and feel they've accomplished what they needed to accomplish, because after this and after everything is done and everybody has what they need, the real work starts. This is not a phase that we can just sit back and do whatever. That's over. You have to participate in change and development and acceptance and pay attention to higher technology changing at a vast pace. Staying above that, watching the dollar. So, and then the projects that are coming out that create nature and man together and respect both sides of the planes on that is important. So when you see each branch of service standing by each other on TV and backing each one up, then you know you are in it. That's what you need to look for. Not somebody that's selling tickets to a fake alien show. I often wonder, I want you to think about this, is some of these children that don't have parents no more, and some of these children that need foster care, that are going to need it, but in a way to make sure it's done legit and right. They are taken care of 100% across the board. There are so many ways to contribute yourself and your energy into helping humanity in many ways. So keeping your eye on Germany, because someone has to lead the flock and see that first step and that first process has to happen, and everything else will follow with that. But there will be a time where there will be souls running scared, because humanity's conscience will get to a point that reality will come in and you will know everything. And hopefully they'll either be caught or they'll already be incarcerated. Either or, you're going to know or witness that process. So if you guys have any more questions, the thing that I want to say for this week, if it feels like you've been hit by a Mack truck, that's part of the process. If it feels like nothing in your life feels like it has any reality anymore, that is part of the process. But the firmament is not down. We are not taking our bodies up to 5D. That is all false information. We have to physically feel something here, and then our soul vessel will make its own voice in its own time, just like it does when it is sick and decides to go into transformation. You will kind of go through that same process, but you will not feel that physical pain. It's the same thing as spirits say, they don't realize that they have passed on because they don't feel their body anymore. It's a numbness that takes over. So there, in this energy on this planet, there's a lightness coming. So I'm not dwelling in process of matrix that is of the past. So, and this is where I have told you over and over to reside the information inside you and listen to the frequency that tells you the truth. Because all the ones that have been giving you false information will not have that podium to be using to lie to you anymore. The whole thing about this situation, I'm going to tell you, the ones that have been chosen, I can tell you they don't care about the mighty dollar. They care about doing what is been put in their path and getting across that threshold to that last end of things and allowing their soul to rest, but knowing the mission was completed. They're not rolling out their pockets and counting their money because they know it doesn't really matter. So I came on here tonight to talk to you and just give you some information and what to pay attention to. A lot more trucks and vessels in your highways and cities, and fences being built up. Do not get involved. Stay out of the way and let them do what they have to do. Let them complete what they have been trained to do. And this is one of the questions people think, the election, all that stuff, it just doesn't really matter anymore. Because that old paradigm of that process can never be trusted again in that way. And so we have to bring up and develop a new paradigm of trust. So stop fixating on the election because they knew the outcome before it started. But it was the only way to completely annihilate them, get rid of them, and start a new process. So if you guys need any more information, there's the Patreon that has my predictions that are going on. There's Instagram that has a lot of my information on, and you can send me an email or go to my website. You guys know how to get a hold of me. So I just want to come on and talk to you and just flow with this heavy energy. Okay? Pay attention to things that seem to be healing faster, too. Pay attention to animals. They're going to react to this energy very well, and so is nature. I'd be looking for whales. I would be looking for sharks to act different because they are the first ones that are affected by this type of energy in a different way that brings humanity together. So, go outside. So, I have to say goodnight and stay in the light. You guys have a good night. Take care. Bye.